Here's T-Bone and Heather on Star 98.3 and 97.7 The Bay.
It's 8 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are fortunate enough to be joined on the phone lines this morning with the Comptroller of the great state of Maryland, Brooke Learman. Good morning, Brooke. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
We're doing fantastic.
Fantastic, Brooke. Hey, welcome to Southern Maryland. Glad to have you today. Now, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but anytime you talk about budget cuts, it's
Yep.
and you sit on the Public Works, and so you're
Board of Public Works.
right,
Yep.
and you're with the governor. What has been
Are we broke?
Are we broke? What's the feedback been with these huge cuts?
Yeah. I mean, it's always a challenging thing, a challenging decision to make the programs because every program affects somebody.
Yeah.
But right now, what we're seeing is specifically two big, major, and important programs in Maryland: Medicaid and the Child Care Scholarship Program. Both incredibly important investments by the state. Both have more people participating in them than was anticipated. So because of that, we have to make room in the budget for those investments and for those expenses. And so these cuts were an attempt, by the administration to just make sure that we can make room, to make sure that we're able to meet all of our obligations in a timely way. And so I think it's always incredibly hard to make decisions like this. I appreciated the administration, walking us through the cuts, thinking with their agencies. My agency was cut too.
Right, I was gonna say this is this is like government wide. This isn't like just your department. This isn't just the Department of Health. I mean, these are cuts. Everybody's sharing a little bit of the load.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody felt a little bit of pain. But the investments in Medicaid and the Child Care Scholarship Program are really essential because we know, you can't work if you're not healthy. And we know that folks who have insurance, they go see their doctor, which costs the system much less than if they don't have a doctor and they just end up in the emergency room.
Right.
And so that preventive care is so important. And for Child Care Scholarship, we did, actually in the Office of a Comptroller, we did a State of the Economy report that we released in January and found that part of the reason we don't have enough workers in the state is because the child care is so expensive.
It is.
You know that. So the scholarship program is really essential to help working Marylanders be able to rejoin the workforce. And, of course, to helping kids have a great start in life. But really, it's about our economy. So
now, give us some pluses, Brooke. Give us some pluses on what you're hoping to see when you come to Anne Arundel County and Calvert County today, and what's the message you're bringing?
Sure. Just, we are really focused in our agency on working in partnership with our business partners, with community partners, to make government work better for them, right? To make it easier to start a business in the state, to make it easier to run a business, making sure that we're working with our nonprofits. We in the Comptroller's office dispense we write the checks for the grants, and, so we want to make sure that they have a smooth line of connection to our agency, and, just making sure that they know that we are available to be their advocate and to be there for them. So I'm really excited. I'm going to, doing a business roundtable with the Southern Anne Arundel Chamber of Commerce. I'm touring the Calvert County Library, the Twin Beaches branch.
Beautiful library.
With the Calvert County Commissioners. Yes, I've heard. I'm really excited to see it. I'll be at the Armory Square development.
That's huge, yeah. That's a big one. Oh, and the golf club is great. Chesapeake Hills is great, yeah.
Yep, I'm excited. And then I'm going to see Horseman Farm.
Nice.
Really amazing agritourism spot. So very excited to see a lot of the jewels of Southern Maryland.
Hey,
so, yeah.
Brooke, let me ask you: Do you play golf?
I have. I will say I play more golf at Topgolf than anywhere else.
That's exactly the way I answer that question. Do you play golf? I have.
Sure. Well, they might want you to swing an iron or two down there.
I can do that.
There you go. Excellent. Well, what do we see coming down the pike for Maryland with the Key Bridge? I understand that there is a huge fight going on, and the Maryland delegation in Congress, they're saying, listen, the feds need to pay for this bridge. What's the scuttlebutt? What are you hearing on that?
Yeah, I think, this is the sort of catastrophe that can happen in anybody's district.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you have a bridge in your district, you should be in favor of the federal government supporting the state of Maryland here, because you just never know what's going to happen. And so, the governor, our great federal leaders from Maryland are really, working hand in glove to talk with their fellow, congressmen and senators to make sure they understand that this is something that can happen to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And if it happened to you, it would blow a hole in your budget and you would not be able to recover. But also that this is a uniquely important port. And 695. This part of 695 really connects, right, Florida to Maine. And so right now there's this, making cars and trucks from the port drive all the way around because they can't go through the tunnels if they have hazmat, right, that it really impedes interstate commerce as well. So that this really is, it's a local issue, but it also has national consequences. So it's, it is something that we do believe the federal government and, the Biden administration is working hard as well. They've been fully supportive. So we're hoping, I'm confident they'll get it done, and we've got to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, because it's not just the Key Bridge. I mean, once that fire is out, they really need to take a look at all the bridges and go, okay, well, we need to change the design so we have better embankments out there to protect the pilings and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's got to be addressed as well.
Yes, absolutely. There's just more, for sure. There's more work to do to make sure that we're protecting all bridges across the country, frankly.
All right. Well, I tell you, we appreciate your time. We know how busy your schedule is, Comptroller.
Always happy to come on.
Yeah, yes. Anytime. Come in studio. We'd love to have you. We'll clean up. We'll vacuum for you.
Sure.
So come on in.
I'd be honored.
And just before we let you go, just to recap, we're not broke, right?
We're not broke.
We're not broke.
Oh,
no, we are definitely not broke. We are doing fine. But we just want to always be responsible fiscal stewards.
There you go. Good.
We're doing well.
Well, you'll get no argument for free.
Thank you, Brooke. Have a great day.
You too. Happy Friday. Take care.
Bye-bye.
15 minutes after 8 o'clock, 8:15. Good to talk with Brooke, Comptroller for the state of Maryland, to find out, well, you never know. It's not like you get the checkbook, right? Right. I don't know how much money they got. What's going on? How we doing?
Well, when you hear budget cuts like that, almost 150 million in budget cuts, government wide, you start going, how we doing? What's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, like any household, when you go, okay, hey, listen, we got to tighten the belts. That's because you're overspending, right? So that everybody understands that. And I think probably with what, I don't know, but I think with what the governor is doing, there's just so much redundancy and excess in government that you're like, well, do we really need 8 people to make coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Paul, you could handle that, right? You could just be the coffee guy, so we could just get rid of these other 7 people.
There's a public defender that came out because apparently the public defender's office took a huge hit. Her name is Natasha Dartieg.
Okay.
The cuts to her office budget, she says, let me get the quote here. She says it is a loss to humanity.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
She says it's exhausting work. It's sitting with a person at their lowest moment. It's vital work. It's gritty, ugly, cry work, especially when you can't catch enough. She works out of Annapolis. She said she called herself and the hundreds of public defenders who serve marginalized and poor Marylanders stone catchers, those who believe it's their duty to catch the stones of grief and pain cast against defendants in criminal court. But yeah, says that it's just, we're in trouble.
Well, listen, people who study these numbers and look at it, I mean, they know. You can't just keep going. And I would say this about our federal budget, too. You know, you just can't continue to spend.
It's true, yeah. But, you know, you deal with sequestration. What was that, 2%? And people lost their minds.
I think it was.
You need to do 15. You need to do 15%.
Well,
she also said,
I think probably.
This is not only a loss to humanity, but it essentially stops the gears of the criminal legal system we know.
Well, the criminal legal system we know is a debacle, so maybe it needs to stop. Yeah, well, listen, these are the things that have to be looked at and have to be discussed, and I think you could probably point to any direction in government, whether it's local government, federal government, this, that, and the other. It really doesn't matter. Close your eyes, throw a dart. You're going to hit something that needs to be fixed.
I do want to ask this question, though, and this isn't judgment. This isn't attacking at all. Okay, this is a serious question that I have for child care providers in the state of Maryland.
It's expensive, man.
Why are you so expensive? Is it insurance? Is it rent? Why are you so expensive? Because I know when the boy was in daycare, it was like $250 a week. It was a lot.
That was
and for you and
I, it was a long time ago.
It was almost 16 years ago.
Yeah,
and it was, but we had to do it. We had to pay it.
Well, everybody has to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Is it because we have to pay it that you jack up the prices, which I hope is not the case? Or is it insurance and graham crackers and milk? And
I think it's probably all of those things. And you want to hire good people, right?
Right. And not only that, but, the minimum wage has gone up. But that is one of the biggest complaints I hear is childcare when it comes to monthly expenses. It's not car payments. It's not electricity. It's child care.
Well, it is. Listen, it's huge.
It's huge.
It's a huge amount of money. And, I mean, do you seriously want to go?
I think when he was in a diaper, it was $254. I don't know why that number sticks with me. But then, once they're potty trained and everything, is good, then it was less. It was a hit.
There are some things where, if at all possible, you don't want to scrimp on it.
I agree. I agree.
You're dropping your kid off at some place. And it's just like, just throw them in the van. They're fine. We got some graham crackers in there.
He has a lunch. I don't know if it needs to be refrigerated. Don't worry about it.
So, you want them to be safe. They have to hire good people. I'm sure insurance is through the roof. I can't imagine what it is to insure a daycare for kids because God help you if something happens.
I know, right?
So I don't know. There's a lot of things. That all factors in, and it's all important. But it is a huge expense for people who have kids that little kids, little folks, and you're like, well, I got to go to work. What the hell do I do? So I don't know.
You have to pay. You just have to. You have to find a way, or you don't work. You do not generate an income, and you become the child care provider. And for some people, that is more financially feasible than working.
Well, not to put too fine a point on it, but there was a time when mom stayed home. Mm-hmm. And then that was dad went to work, and that's how that household ran. But nobody can do that anymore. Nobody can afford to do that anymore. Or very, 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 very few people do it. And it's just...
I like to work.
I understand that. Sure.
Yeah, thanks.
I know.
Appreciate you understanding that.
I like that you're here working.
Thank
However, there is a trade-off for that. And there's a trade-off for everything. And these are the decisions that people have to make. And if you are staying at home and you are taking care of the kids, it's still work. I mean, it's a hell of a lot of work. I mean, how much, cough syrup can you put in the bottle so they'll take a nap?
Oh, T. Oh, you're going to get hate mail for that one, buddy.
I don't know why my daycare didn't take off.
T, Bones little tykes.
Welcome to Sleepy Time Daycare.